Connection. Ooh, did. Welcome back to the barbecue pit. Damn, I got no fucking. I wonder what happened to that thing. Anyway, just got smoked in our first softball game of the season. But we are back. UFC 259 coming up this weekend. I'm trying to see if you guys can hear me through this noise in the background, which you guys can't hear. I'm glad. All right, starting off the main card, Thiago Santos, Alexander Rakic. Rakic 13-2, never been knocked out in his career, only been submitted one time in his professional career. That was his first fight of his professional debut. 5-1 in the UFC. He's only lost a split decision loss to Volkan Oezdemir. Um, he's got UFC wins over Justin Ledet, Jimmy Manoa, Anthony Smith. That was his last fight, August 2020. 9 out of 13 of his wins via TKO or knockout. He's got a 3-inch height and a 2-inch reach advantage. So he's coming in a little bit longer than Santos. Santos is probably going to be the more powerful striker, 21-8 on a 2-fight losing streak at the moment. Split decision loss to John Jones for the light heavyweight title, July 2019, and then a submission loss to Glover, November 2020, which Glover is about to be an alternate for the light heavyweight title next. So he's 15 out of 21 of his wins via knockout. He's 3-2 at light heavyweight so far, with wins over Eric Anders, Jimmy Manoa, and then Han Blachowicz right before going on this 2-fight losing streak. Santos has got the power, that's no doubt. Rakic probably going to be able to stay on the outside, use his length a little bit more, but the question just is Santos going to get tired? Is he going to be able to throw power all night long? Rakic definitely could take home a decision. But as far as level of competition, title fights, experience in this position, I'm going to go Thiago Santos, probably knockout first or second round. Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober is a very interesting fight. Makhachev 18-1. His only loss was a knockout loss to Adriano Martins in his second UFC fight. He's 7-1 in the UFC, on a 6-fight winning streak at the moment against Gleison Tibau. With a knockout over Gleison Tibau, submission over Keon Johnson, and the decision wins over Leo Kuntz, shout out Leo Kuntz, Chris Wade, Nick Lentz, Arman Tussaran, and Davey Ramos. Something important to be said about that lineup that he just went through. Arman Tussaran, very well known, on the rise. Davey Ramos, great fighter. Chris Wade, great, but he fights for the PFL right now. Nick Lentz just retired. Leo Kuntz has fought for the UFC since 2017 or so. So he's went on a bit of a run here, but only the last 2 fights I think are the most impressive that he's had. Definitely not on the level of Drew Dober yet. It's going to be his biggest fight to date. Dober 23-9, 1 no contest. He's only been knocked out once, submitted 3 times in his career. 9-5-1 in the UFC. He's currently on a 3-fight winning streak, with a knockout win over Marco Polo Reyes, Nasrat Hapkras, and Alexander Hernandez in his last fight. He's on a streak right now. He's finishing fights right now. He's going up against a wrestler, Sambo, International Master of Sports in Sambo, in Makhachev. Trains at AKA with Daniel Cormier and Khabib. If he wants to take Dober down, I think that it's going to be the smart move. Question's going to be, will he be able to take Dober down as easy as we've seen Khabib take guys down? You never know. I don't think Makhachev is that well forward in his wrestling. I think Drew Dober has probably got way more power in his hands, although Makhachev is a very, very technical striker. So I think just because of the double positive here, I'm going to go Islam Makhachev. Very close fight. I could honestly see Drew Dober winning it pretty easily. So I'm going to be mad if I get that wrong, because I'm not doing too well, guys. I'm fucking 2 months in, dead even 500. I feel like the fucking Knicks right now. Even though the Knicks are in 4th place. Shout out to the Knicks. 4th place in the East, 1 game over 500. Says something about the East. Petrian versus Aljamain Sterling, our first of 3 title fights. This one coming at bantamweight. Petrian 15-1, never been finished in his career. 7 knockout wins, 1 submission. His only loss was a split decision loss to Magomed Magomedov. That was 2016 before he got into the UFC. 7-0 in the UFC. He's got wins over John Dodson, Jimmy Rivera, Uriah Faber, and then he just beat Jose Aldo for the title. That was July of 2020. Jose Aldo is steadily declining in his career. He's getting old. He's getting up there. If losing a step is kind of just giving him a break there. But Jose Aldo is not the Jose Aldo that ran the 145-pound division for a very long time. Pucciano was able to run straight through him. But Jose Aldo, the best fighter that Pucciano's fought, Aljamain Sterling has ran through the mud of that bantamweight division. He's 19-3. He's only been finished one time. He got knocked out by Marlon Moraes by a head kick 2017. He's 11-3 in the UFC. He's got wins over Renan Barão, Brett Johns, Cody Stanman, Jimmy Rivera, Pedro Munoz, and Corey Sandhagen. And he's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. Now, the height is somewhat similar. I think Aljamain may have like an inch on him, but 4-inch reach advantage. He's going to want to grapple with Piran. Piran is probably going to be the heavier striker. Aljamain Sterling has shown rapid improvements in his striking within his last 3 fights or so. Pedro Munoz, Corey Sandhagen, and Jimmy Rivera. Basically, since the Marlon Moraes fight, he showed crazy improvements in his striking. But I think the far superior grappler here is going to be Aljamain Sterling. Far superior jiu-jitsu game. And if he wants to, I think he's going to be able to take Pichion down, hold him down at will, and beat him up. And I think this probably goes to a decision. And if not, it's probably going to be a TKO, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, somewhere in those later rounds, because Pichion just can't handle the onslaught of being taken down and war on. Now, I wouldn't be surprised Pichion lands some hard shots and is able to kind of finish Aljamain Sterling pretty early in the fight. But, if Aljamain's able to get him on the ground, I think one time, I think it's going to start wearing on him, and Jan's going to start getting tired, and we could look for Aljo to start taking over in that sense. 145-pound women's title on the line here. Megan Anderson versus Amanda Nunes. It's going to be her second title defense at 145. She won her first one by decision over Felicia Spencer, who has a submission win over Megan Anderson earlier in her career. Amanda Nunes is 20-4, 13 wins by knockout, 3 by submission. She is finished in 3 of her 4 losses. Kat Zingano, 2014. Alexis Davis, 2011. Excuse me, those are both by TKO. And then she lost her professional debut by submission to Anne Marie India, which I couldn't find much on Anne Marie India. So shout out to her. That was 2008. First person ever to beat Amanda Nunes. Got to give credit where it's due. Anne Marie India, wherever you are, probably. Definitely not in the UFC, but shout out to her. Either way, since those 3 losses, Amanda Nunes has become one of the most dominant female mixed martial artists in the entire world. UFC, Bellator, PFL. I don't think there's a lot of women on the face of this earth that could beat Amanda Nunes in a fist fight. And she'll be going up against Megan Anderson, who has a little bit of a size advantage on her. Reach, height. But she's 11-4, 9 finishes, 6 knockouts, 3 submissions. Never been knocked out in her career, which is a positive. She's got a pretty good chin. Only been submitted twice. We talked about Felicia Spencer and then Cindy Danos. 3-2 in the UFC. Another one of her losses in the UFC was Holly Holm. Biggest win was Kat Zingano. That was 2018. She's beat Zara Ferreira dos Santos, and then somebody else that I didn't take the time to bother, because she's like I said, her biggest fight was Kat Zingano. Now Kat Zingano did beat Amanda Nunes 4 years prior, but Amanda Nunes is a 10 times different fighter than she was then. And Amanda Nunes is good at winning fights. She's a finisher. She can finish the fight, but also we've seen the Felicia Spencer fight and many other fights before that she just knows how to win. She knows how to outscore her opponents and win her way to a decision. So I think money's on Nunes. I haven't looked at the odds for any of these fights, but I think money's going to be on Nunes there. 205-pound title fight, light heavyweight. Middleweight champion Israel Adesanya is coming up to fight light heavyweight champion Han Blachowicz. Adesanya 20-0, 15 knockouts, making his light heavyweight debut 9-0 in the UFC. Defended his 185-pound title twice. Yoel Romero and Paulo Costa in his last fight. Blachowicz, on the other hand, he's got a slight height advantage, but a slight reach disadvantage. 27-8. He's on a 4-fight winning streak at the moment, losing to with his last fight before that streak, losing to Thiago Santos 2019. He's got a knockout over Dominic Reyes for the title, September 2020. Blachowicz got a lot of power. He's a decent grappler. He's great jiu-jitsu, but his takedowns and his wrestling need some work. But his striking, he's got so much power in his hands. And I think the biggest question here was going to be, is Israel Adesanya going to be able to deal with some of the power punches Blachowicz is going to throw? And I think we've seen that Adesanya is going to come into the fight way quicker than Blachowicz, and has great counter striking. So I don't think he's going to have a problem counter striking with Blachowicz. I really would like Blachowicz to win this fight. I like him as a fighter. I think he's an exciting fighter. I don't think that Adesanya is going to be a great double champ, but unfortunately, I think it's going to happen. I think Israel Adesanya is going to go ahead and claim himself 2 championships, and maybe even set up a fight with John. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. He keeps saying that he doesn't want the fight to happen until after they can get crowds back. I think that's kind of like you're kind of just putting it off at that point. You're just kind of saying you don't want to fight him without looking like a punk, Rest of the card shapes up: Dominic Cruz, Casey Kenny, Song Yudong taking on Kyler Phillips, Joseph Benavidez versus Askar Askarov, Rogero Bontorman versus Kai Kara France, Tim Elliott against Jordan Espinoza. Watch me murder this one. Kennedy Neswechu versus Carlos Olberg, Sean Brady, Jake Matthews, Livia Renata Souza versus Amanda Lemons, Lamons, Euros Medic versus Alan Cruz, and then Mario Batista versus Trevin Jones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 fight card with 3 title fights. So I feel bad for you guys overseas because us Americans probably be up to 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. 2, 3. I mean, shit. That's 3 title fights. Imagine they all go to decision. You do this fucking the sun will be coming out by the time the fights are over. Either way, looking forward to those. What's coming up afterwards? Leon Edwards versus Biel Muhammad. Biel Muhammad, shout out Biel Muhammad, man, getting a much deserved main event slot here against Leon Edwards. Khamzat Chimaev, I feel fucking horrible for because Khamzat Chimaev retired because of COVID. His lungs is getting fucked up so with COVID in his lungs so much. And Kadyrov, I don't talk about this. Fucking Kadyrov, come fucking to America, fuck me up. But called him and said, no man, you can't retire. And now he said, ignore my retirement post. I'm not retiring anymore. So I feel bad for him, man. If you want to retire, that should be completely up to you, especially if you feel like your lungs are kind of compromised and are not getting any kind of better. It's kind of messed up to make the guy keep fighting, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when he comes back. Biel Muhammad with a huge chance to move up in the rankings and get into the title picture. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Catch us back here next Tuesday for predictions for that main card. Until then, stay barbecue, motherfuckers.